Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the market is trying to pump a little bit. We've got almost up 5% XRP at 353 this morning. A lot of interesting things to show. Look, in the last 30 days, you won't hear this on CNBC, but XRP is up more than ETH, SUI, Litecoin, Solana, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at the very bottom. I've seen this movie back in 2018. Look at this, 2017 best performing crypto assets, Ripple, XRP, 36%. Bitcoin wasn't even in the top 10. And back then, Anthony Pompliano understood XRP. He hasn't been able to figure it out ever since. I think somebody got to ex-military intelligence, Anthony Pompliano. XRP passed Ethereum and was headed for Bitcoin, then got regulatory then we got the regulatory capture of XRP. We just came through the fire lock-in. The free market doesn't lie. We just haven't had one. That is so true. Now, folks, I've been here a long time, and I can tell you, in my opinion, this is where all of the anti-Ripple and anti-XRP forces came into play. This, to me, was the moment that they got in their back rooms and said, we got to kill this thing, and they tried everything, including regulatory capture. Then they tried to get a monopoly for Bitcoin and Ethereum. But it was when Ripple announced they had locked it up in escrow. That was the moment. I believe this was the day the government aligned with many in the crypto industry and the banking industry to stop Ripple. The regulatory capture, the media pundit hits, the manipulation of facts, crypto monopoly attempts, it all started here, and this week we came out victorious. Here's a good little reminder. 10 days prior to this tweet, JP Morgan met with Ripple. 15 senior executives from JP Morgan met at Ripple's offices, and this meme's kind of funny. Give me some of that sweet escrow, Jamie Dimon. Go F yourself. XRP is a security. Oh, man. Now, all of the Bitcoin people,
Trump is going to spend more.
They're calling for $1 million $1 million Bitcoin
money, have a bigger deficit than Biden. It's just math and the priorities of the administration. And so I can see Bitcoin going up 10x from here to $1 million by 2028.
$1 million. And then that was Arthur Hayes that created BitMEX.
And the fact that
it was Adam back.
An end of epoch, new all-time high, 73.5, just before the halving. It's kind of argued as a kind of confirmation that, it would have gone higher if not for...
We don't have to watch the whole clip. He says he thinks Bitcoin's going to $1 million during this cycle. Well, here's an uncomfortable fact that's going around this morning. Bitcoin, 1-year return 77%, 5-year 1,540%, XRP 500% 1-year return, 1,600% 5-year return. If XRP continues to outperform Bitcoin by the same factor as in the past year, and Bitcoin reaches $1 million, then XRP would be worth approximately $193.05. Now, there's a lot of talk about a repeat of the 2017-2018 XRP bull run where it led the market. In the group today, that's what we're going to talk about, and the number that XRP would get to will surprise you. It's quite the number. Might be somewhat in line with what's being said here. I'll show you. We'll track it if it copied that market. You can go and join the group at daixrp.com through the Patreon, or you can click the join button below any of my YouTube videos, and you can also hit subscribe on X if you want to join through there. Now, this is great. This is the one of the founders of Chainlink talking about how early we are, and then I added a clip in from Brad Garlinghouse.
Sergey, if this was the early internet era, what year would crypto be in?
I would say 97, 98, something like that.
Really?
Yeah. Let me explain. So cryptocurrency tokenization is like the early form of email, where very few people had email, but people knew what email was, but they didn't use it yet. Real world asset tokenization is mass adoption of email, where everyone is using email. And DeFi is like e-commerce. DeFi is at the 200 billion, 100, 200 something billion level, which is nothing. Which is like e-commerce when you were shipping checks by mail to buy books. That's where DeFi is. So where we are right now is people know what email is. Most of them don't use it. And e-commerce doesn't have credit cards for you to interact with it efficiently. And so you have to mail checks to Amazon in Seattle. And when they receive your mailed check, then they will ship you the book that you discovered on their website. And you wrote down what book you wanted. You put it in the envelope with a check, and you mailed them the check. That's where we are right now.
And I think Ripple is in a position that I compare to Amazon circa 1997, where Amazon at those ages, which you and I will remember, it wasn't Amazon, it was Amazon Books. The name of the company was Amazon Books, and it competed with Borders and Barnes & Noble. Today, obviously, it does lots of things. I think of Ripple, our first vertical, the Books is to cross-border payments for Ripple.
The writing is on the wall. And then look down here. This is the same guy from the Chainlink.
What I see is that people who are not involved in Chainlink, so non-community members, they have a very hard time to understand Chainlink. But I think it's also a good thing because it shows that it's a more technical thing, first of all. It also shows that it's, of course, it is complicated to even explain, so it also means it's complicated to build. And that's what you're saying as well right now, that is that it takes time, especially to build something like this.
Yeah. They'll understand it when we power everything.
Now, folks, this, of course, reminded me of Brad Garlinghouse's photo or painting, Laugh Now, but one day XRP will power the world. I'll say it again, folks. There's going to be, in my opinion, about 30 to 50 blue chip utility digital assets that the entire financial system is going to be built on. I think XRP would be, the ledger would be at the top of that list, okay? And I think Chainlink's one of them. I've talked about many of the ones that I think will be included in that. But what I would say to anyone, I mean, because I'm asked all the time, which tokens do you like or whatever? All you have to do is watch all these meetings in the White House. Look who's in the room, because those are, I mean, many, and focus on I would say focus on the tokens that all of that will be built on, or the blockchain platforms that will be built on. That's where, I mean, right now I'm pretty much XRP, but if I was investing in others, I put this out of place, but Smoke had put this out about when Ripple had put that money in the XRP in escrow. In order to remove uncertainty around XRP's future supply, this was like a chess move by Ripple. And that's why I believe all the bad players tried to stop Ripple and XRP after this was done. Ripple Labs expects to use XRP to continue to incentivize market makers to offer tighter spreads between currency pairs in exchange for XRP, and to sell XRP to institutional investors. This mechanism is intended to ensure that a large number of XRP will enter the market at one time and lead to substantial reduction in the price of XRP. Folks, what was done to Ripple and to XRP over the last 5 to 7 years is no different than what you're watching in politics. All of these people, they go in motion to construct a lie, and then they get their PR media machine to go out and repeat the lie over and over on CNBC and all these other channels, the media that they control, and that's what they've done. And the XRP army wasn't and isn't buying it, and that's why we are now here positioned to take advantage of this. Here's David Schwartz on what's about to happen.
We have the technology.
This is from before the Genius Act, but he's talking about what's holding everything back and what will happen.
We have the technology to allow every financial institution on the planet to settle with every other financial institution in a compatible jurisdiction in any asset in seconds for less than a penny. Just think about this. Anyone who's made a payment knows that we're nowhere near that today. But imagine every financial institution settling with every other financial institution in seconds for less than a penny, any asset. That's fundamentally transformative. We have the technology to do it. Now we just need to figure out how to drive the adoption. And of course, there's all the challenges there's incumbents, there's regulation, there's inertia, there's the big players who are really trying to defend, if you're one of the largest banks in the world, you want to
JP Morgan
push pause or stop on technology because you're in the lead. So
how do you pause it?
Of course, you say you love
a Ripple lawsuit by the SEC
of technology, but obviously you wish you could stop it. So
all right, they lost, we won. And here I'm going to give you 589 guesses who in crypto has been working on fixing the payment rails and plumbing in crypto for over a decade. Dent in the universe, Tom.
Let's start with Genius, because I think Genius is really
This is Bo Hines from the President's Crypto Council.
The foundation for everything else we can build upon in this space. A lot of industry cares about market structure, as do we, and we want to see it done on the president's desk as well. But Genius is unique because it really updates the payment rails inside of our current financial system. I mean, the payment rails have been archaic, and I've likened it to the fact of the ways in which we've communicated have changed quite dramatically over the course of the last several decades. The ways in which we move money really haven't. And we have the technology there in blockchain technology. So what we're doing here is we're fixing the plumbing of our financial system. We're securing US dollar dominance for decades to come. If you want to access our capital markets, you're going to have to use a dollar-backed stable. You're also providing a pathway for tokenization of public securities in 24/7 markets and the things that people have dreamed about for quite some time. This is a revolutionary piece of legislation.
Okay. Here Bo Hines is talking about the ripple effect.
I'm interested in how you think that this regulation is going to affect other jurisdictions, other countries.
Oh, I think it's going to have, ripple effect all over the globe. People are going to follow our leadership here, as they always do.
I believe the XRP price is going to have a ripple effect.
I think you're going to see people that have gone offshore start to come back onshore. Our message to those folks is welcome home. This is the best place to engage in business. We want you here interacting with our capital markets. We want you IPOing here. We're just really looking forward to all of these companies coming back on shore that have left. And, I think the other jurisdictions will follow suit with what we're doing. I think that Genius effectively kills any CBDCs across the world. And, look, we have the Anti-CBDC Act as well, which we're very supportive of. But I think you pretty much accomplish that with Genius. I mean, no one's going to want to use a government-backed stablecoin when they have access to all these different private opportunities. So, there's a lot of things that are tucked in here that, and it's a little bit nuanced, but they're huge. They're hugely important to the United States of America, and the rest of the world is going to follow our lead.
All right, we're going to go to DAIXRP.com, the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join below any of these videos. If you'd rather join through X, hit the subscribe button. We do the full video plus the extended video with no commercials. I'm the digital asset investor and not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.